Good Wednesday evening, everyone. Welcome to Garden State Weather on YouTube and Garden State WX on Twitter. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith on this warm Wednesday preceding an Arctic boundary and some snow tomorrow morning. This is Wednesday evening, the 19th of January, 2022. Can't believe how fast this month is going. Right now here at the Weather Center, it is mostly clear and 45 degrees, but that is all changing here. We have winter weather advisories here from Dale City into Washington and Annapolis, Baltimore, into Wilmington, extending into just about Vineland, New Jersey, up the Philadelphia I-95 corridor, into Trenton, Long Branch, Edison, northwestern New Jersey here, Morris County, Warren County here, into northern Bergen County, Patterson, Newark, New York City, West Orange here at the Weather Center, Elizabeth, into Levittown, Brentwood for tomorrow morning. And this is from 3 a.m. in the morning till 11 a.m. in the morning for Warren, Morris, Hunterdon, Somerset, Berks, Lehigh, Northampton, Western Chester, Western Montgomery, and Upper Bucks. Total snow accumulations of about 2 inches, with local amounts up to 3 inches possible. Basically from 3 to 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Plan on slippery road conditions. The hazards conditions could impact the morning commute. Rain develops later tonight and then mixes with and changes to snow during the early morning hours on Thursday. Temperatures are forecasted to drop near freezing by daybreak on Thursday, so you should slow down and use caution while traveling. On the coastal waters, we have small craft advisories in effect until 6 p.m. on Friday, and these are going to be for northwest winds at 15 to 25 knots, gusting up to 30 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet, and this is for the coastal waters all along and in the back bays here down to the Delaware, including the New York City and Long Island coastal waterways as well. Actually, I take that back. That's not covering New York's waterways at this time, but that may change. It is a mild evening out there from the New Jersey Weather Network. Let's go back here first. Cool spots, Peak West at 36, 32 in Sandyston, Walpack at 35 right now. But it's going to get a lot colder than that come this time tomorrow. Vineland, New Jersey is at 47. Jersey City at 46, Oceanport 46. It's relatively mild for this time of the year. Here at the Weather Center in New Brunswick at Rutgers University, it's 43, and the wind is out of the south at 4, and southwest at 7, gusting up if you want to consider that. Now let's take a look at the temperatures right now across the region. They're in the upper 30s here in Sussex and parts of Warren County, in the low to mid 40s, upper 40s to around 50 in a few spots here. Mostly drop down now into the 40s here along the coast and over interior and southwestern New Jersey into the Delmarva region here. And this is all going to change tomorrow because we're expecting snow in these areas. We started out chilly this morning. Some temperatures here below 10 degrees here in Sandyston. Walpack at 8 this morning, 15 at High Point. Other cool spots this morning were generally running in the upper teens and low to the mid 20s across the region. But we had a beautiful afternoon with some sunshine coming in and temperatures rebounding into the 40s and even some low to mid 50s here along the coast and into interior central and southern New Jersey. Haven't done this in a while, but the COVID seems to be steadying off here in the Northeast and most of the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley. It's still quite strong in spots here across Pennsylvania and Ohio, down through the Virginias, Maryland, let's see, North Carolina, parts of the central and southern United States. Still expanding with this, but it does look like it's coming down just a little bit. Flu. Well, there's still some of that going around here. It's residual in Pennsylvania and just central, southeastern Pennsylvania and central and southern New Jersey, and other spots here in Georgia, Mississippi, portions of the northern panhandle of Florida, and across the northern and central and southern plains. Take a look at the temperatures here across the nation this evening. This is the Arctic front right in here across the Great Lakes, entering into the Ohio Valley now, and This is some very cold air back in through here and into Canada, as we had expected. Air is quite dry. Look at these dew points, -10, -16, -20 degrees. This very dry air coming into the forecast for tomorrow. Wind chill indices feels like 20 to 25 degrees below zero in spots here across Canada and the northern and central plains, but it feels quite warm here in Florida. I don't know if we can go back and see where the high temperatures were, but we probably can. 24-hour temperature change. Big warm up here with the warm front coming in ahead of the Arctic front coming in. And temperatures are down some 15, 20, 30, 40 degrees below where they were 24 hours ago into portions of the heartland of the Midwest, the Southern Plains, and Texas and Oklahoma here. This is just some crazy cold air that is coming in right now. Quickly looking at the CPC's temperatures here, Weather Prediction Center, Climate Prediction Center here for the period Tuesday the 25th through Saturday the 29th. Very cold air here in northern New England, all the way down the Appalachians to the mid-Atlantic coast states. And it's basically cold from the continental divide east, including Texas, including Florida as well, and the southeast. The 8 to 14-day temperatures is still quite chilly from the continental divide here to the east coast, with specifics of being below normal temperatures here across the mid-Atlantic and southern mid-Atlantic area, and of course across the interior here of the Northwest. Drier, warmer than normal weather here. 6 to 10-day precipitation, there's not a lot to go on here from the 25th through the 29th. And then the 8 to 14-day period looks pretty dry too. And we talked about a lot of this yesterday. There hasn't been a lot of snow around the area, more so here in northwestern New Jersey, upstate New York. Connecticut had more snow than northwestern New Jersey has had this season so far from October through today at 12Z. And of course, southern New Jersey had their snow bomb here just a week or two ago. They may be doing that again on Saturday, but most of this looks like it's going to just shunt this area. But, you know, this area down in here, the Virginias and Delmarva, this is for you again. Baltimore, DC, you're going to get snow. We looked at the continental United States. Lots of snow here in the Intermountain West, Northern California, the Sierra Nevadas, up towards the Great Lakes here. 30, 40, 50 inches of snow, hundreds of inches of snow here in the plateau areas here in Washington and Oregon, the Cascades and the Sierra Nevadas here. And it's been quite an interesting winter thus far across the Ohio River Valley, the interior Appalachian Mountains, the Great Smokies here into central and southern New Jersey. Not so much here in northern New Jersey. In fact, if we looked once again at New Jersey, this is what we got. Let's look into the northeast here. There's been lots of snow here downwind the lakes and the Great Lakes too, picking up 30, 40 inches of snow so far. But we seem to be in this dry slot right now, and things don't look that promising, actually, I can tell you that. One of the things I like to look at is the frontage genetic force, and we're going to use the NAM 3 kilometer 700 millibar temperature in Celsius, the temperature advection, and the frontage genetic forcing here in purple. And we're starting out with this Arctic front here crossing late tonight, early tomorrow morning across the Great Lakes, and there's some stretching here across this area. And as this area gets into northern New Jersey, two things are going to happen. We're going to start seeing frontage genetic forcing starting out in central southwestern Pennsylvania up to northern New Jersey, the Connecticut River Valley area. So this is an area of enhanced stretching in the atmosphere where air is rising. And of course, again, right along the actual Arctic boundary itself, stretching in from the Great Lakes into, let's see, this would be Erie, Buffalo, down here. And during the morning hours, the frontage genetic forcing is just going to continue to increase here, and that's why the winter weather advisories are in effect, because the sounding, we'll probably take a a slice of this sounding in just a moment. But here's the Arctic boundary coming through, and there's the cold front coming through. And still, through Thursday evening and Friday morning, still some frontogenetic forcing going on. But the main area of frontogenetic forcing is going to be in two locations. The first area here, starting out in Pennsylvania into northwestern New Jersey, and then dropping down through New York City, central and southern New Jersey, down through the Delmarva. This is why there's a winter weather advisory in effect in this area. And here comes the real cold air here. So let's take you into 15Z on Thursday morning, and we'll do a slice of the sounding here. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see if we can do a sounding here. And you can see this. It's very dry air coming down on the backside with the dew points of 21 and the surface temperature at 30. So this is a signature here of drying in the atmosphere, but also a stretching in the atmosphere, where the dew points are actually drying up at about 800 millibars down to 900 millibars. It's really starting to dry. And if we went back, let's start this back here, just a couple of tags here, starting this out at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, you see the sounding is pretty uniform. Both the dew point and air temperature are pretty close together here, but that's going to change because then all that dry air comes in. So what happens in these kinds of situations is that we get wet bulbed, and the air mass is also drying at the same time. So, you go from an 8-to-1 ratio where, the cold front's coming through, and then you get up to 12 or 13-to-1. And this is a good idea of that happening tomorrow morning into the afternoon as the atmosphere begins to dry out and the temperatures begin to plummet. Look at all this dry air by tomorrow afternoon. At about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the atmosphere is really drying out, and the temperature at the surface is beginning to cool. And a further inspection of this, look at all of this dry air here. This is so that changes the snow ratios greatly. And down at 850 millibars, here's our frontogenetic forcing down here at about 5,000 feet instead of 10,000 feet. And you can see, it's very interesting to watch all of this evolve, because by tomorrow morning at 5,000 feet, you've got multiple areas along this Arctic boundary here with frontogenetic stretching and forcing, PVA, air being lifted up. And air is also cooling and drying, so that increases the snow ratio from 8-to-1 maybe to 12-to-1 or 13-to-1. So then you go from wet to powder in snowfall, and that's where the accumulation starts. Here comes the Arctic Front Weather Prediction Center here late tonight into New York here, Pennsylvania, and it's raining here, and it's starting to change over and mix over with sleet and snow along this boundary here. Then we get to tomorrow morning, and it's snowing. Yep, it's snowing here. And, well, things get interesting, because then that boundary just goes off the coast. Okay, that's the Arctic boundary, and it's cold here. We'll get into that in a moment. And then here comes the second wave along that boundary that gets stalled out, develops another area of low pressure off of the Carolina coast, and this has been the consensus on the model guidance. But there is somewhat of a northern trough here on late Friday afternoon, Saturday morning here, so there's going to be snow across the area, but the extent of this over northwestern New Jersey is probably going to be nil, and we'll look at that in just a moment. Again, looking at the null Earth here, stratosphere at 10 millibars, this kind of warming here is weak. This polar vortex is very, very strong and resilient. And at 70 millibars, there's a stretching here. But again, this is going to bring the Arctic air into our area, but the polar vortex itself is stuck into place. 250 millibar jet structure here. Well, this is a very east-based NAO. And it's not really looking too good here, as a lot of vortices here in both the Arctic branches, cross-polar flow here, Pacific flow here, subtropical jet stream here. We'll do the HRR model right now, version 4, 925 millibar temperatures in Celsius. This is about approximately 3,000 feet in the atmosphere. So we're going to go through the night tonight into early tomorrow morning, and then the Arctic air is going to bleed in from the northwest to the southeast through the morning. And at 3,000 feet, the temperature is going to start out above zero, and then they're going to go below zero, like -6, -10, -11. All that cold air, -15, -16, is going to bleed into the forecast as we head through the day on Thursday into Friday morning. So we've got Arctic air on the way, and that Arctic air is going to make the difference between what kind of precipitation is going to fall. Obviously, we know it's snow at this point, but it's also going to change the snow ratios. But you have to change the air temperature at the surface in order for the snow to stick. So let's take a look at the 2-meter temperatures here, because it's going to take a while to cool down anything that's in the atmosphere right now, because the temperatures are in the 30s and 40s. And by the time the Arctic front comes through and changes the precipitation and a frontal precipitation back over to snow on Thursday morning, temperatures are still above freezing. So, you know, it's going to start to stick on colder surfaces, but not necessarily so much the ground until we get into rush hour. And that's where the temperatures are going to start to plummet back into the 20s and teens north and west, and that means that some of this precipitation is actually going to accumulate on the ground, and that would be with a changing snow ratio or liquid ratio here, and that means black ice. Back to the NAM model guidance here for the wind chill temperatures. Again, if you thought today was a great day, and it was, it's going to change in a big time way come tomorrow morning near rush hour, as the wind chill temperature is going to feel like they're in the teens and single digits across the Poconos, teens across northwestern New Jersey, and in the low to mid 20s just about everywhere else. And that is just going to bleed in to this forecast as we head into Thursday night and Friday morning. It's going to feel at the higher elevations like 0 to 10 below in spots according to the latest model guidance, and it is going to get cold around here. And we're not really warming up that much on Friday. Wind chill temperature is going to make it feel like it's about 10 to 12 degrees outside across all of the area, especially in the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area, the Hudson River Valley area, northwestern New Jersey, the Poconos. No, this is some cold air coming in for sure. Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning here, it's going to feel like it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees below zero. And not much better anywhere else either. Start off with the European model guidance from 12Z this morning, valid until Thursday afternoon. Again, not a lot of strong PVA here. This wasn't showing up this morning. Here comes the trough into the area, sharpening up here on Friday night and Saturday. This is for our next system here. But this doesn't look good either, because we have this behind it, and this one in the desert southwest. So nothing is really merging here, and this is a positively tilted trough on Saturday morning. So there may be snow here in this area, but not so much here, and then that gets whisked out. And again, this gets hung back in the desert southwest. And here comes the next polar disturbance with another cold front coming through on Sunday night and Monday morning. That gets whisked out, and the flow changes just a little bit. You know, it's back building on itself. And here comes the next disturbance here, and this would be for Wednesday. And again, this is positively tilted PVA, positive vorticity advection. This doesn't look too good either. It doesn't. Not really. This is not really a good forecast going forward if you want East Coast snowstorms here at all. 18Z European 500 millibar cyclonic vorticity PVA. Again, this doesn't really look too fabulous to me. Let's double back this here to Thursday here. Here's the Arctic front. You can see it right there. And a little bit of PVA, but it's not great. Even the frontage genetic forcing, actually, that I just showed you is not that great either. And, well, here comes Saturday on the European model guidance. And again, it's positively tilted. There's too many vortices here working around in this very fast 250 millibar flow. So nothing is a staying ground here. Maybe more snow here in northern New England. Not so here. Not so. But it's cold. This is definitely a signal of cold, but again, cold does not portend always to snowstorms, especially in this case. MJO, Madden, Julian isoscillation. If you really want to get things rocking and rolling here on the East Coast in a La Nina year that's also weakening at this point, you would want these phases of the Madden-Julian isoscillation, the tropical forcing mechanisms, to go through the Western Pacific into the Western Hemisphere and Africa. And guess what? It's in the circle of death through February 2nd, so that's not happening. The global models here of the NCEP don't show that either, only until the circle of death. So that's not looking too good and favorable. And of course, the NCFS, the climate forecast system, is also calling for the same thing, back into a circle of death. Oh, this has been a very tough winter. Back to the teleconnections we go. European model guidance, all models here. North Atlantic oscillation. That's not great. No, this is wrong. That's not going to help you with a snowstorm. This is not going to help you with the snowstorm too, because the Arctic oscillation is positive, which means that the vortex, which we just showed you, is locked up in place. Doesn't mean that you can't get something to pop here, but this doesn't look too good right now. EPO is all over the place, and then it's, you know, a disaster in this La Nina year that we're working in. And the PNA, well, it's trending negative, at least in the NCEP model, not so much in the European model guidance, but it's going that way. So, you know, there could still be snowstorms here, but this doesn't look favorable to me at this point. European model guidance this morning's 10 millibar stratosphere here. Up in the stratosphere, yeah, here's your polar vortex, and it is going back to the other side of the pole. 50 millibars doing the same thing. Not good. if you want snow, this is a European winter. This is definitely not a North American winter here. We may have started strong in the West, but not looking too promising to me. Temperatures at 50 millibars. Not good. This doesn't look good either here. It's cold, but 10 millibars, but at 50 millibars, temperature anomaly at 50 millibars out to 10-day 10. This is definitely all wrong. Northeast off the NCEP and NAM 3 to 1 kilometer elevation reflectivity here. Here comes the Arctic front. Here comes the rain showers building in late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then mixing with and changing to snow. Now, this is the area between Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia, and New York City where the temperature is going to start falling rapidly, and the snow ratios are going to change from 8 to 1 to like 12 to 1, which we talked about. And that's where you're going to get the snow on like the cold surfaces, bridges, for example, anything that's metal, okay, and on roadways. And this is going to cause some black ice tomorrow morning, right around the time of transit, especially if you're in the New York City metropolitan area, southern coast of Connecticut, Long Island here, back through the coastal New Jersey area, back down to 78, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington. That's where you're going to find the greatest amount. And after that, it's just cold. I mean, it's just cold. And then we wait for the next system to come in along that frontal boundary and see what happens here. The model guidance wants to take it out south and east of Long Island. Let's see what the European model guidance wants to do right now. Let's check this out. European model guidance, the United States will do northeast, and we'll do precipitation type. Yeah, let's do it. So this is off the 18Z European model guidance. Here comes the Arctic front with the rain changing over and mixing with sleet and snow tomorrow morning. That's all well advertised. And then comes the Arctic air in. And then, well, that goes out to 90 hours. So we want to make this go out to Saturday evening and Sunday morning. It's showing, forget about it. It's like out to sea. United States, East Coast. So here goes 12Z. Here it comes in. And there it goes out. So this is a Delmarva dumper, but not for here. And then next Wednesday is questionable as well, and we'll get into that later. For Garden State Weather, I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. Thanks for following us and connecting with us on YouTube and being a subscriber. You can definitely ask your friends to be subscribers to us here by simply watching the video and subscribe. The subscribe button is everywhere, all over the place, so there you go. And on Garden State WX on Twitter. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. Be safe out there tomorrow morning. Bundle up.